Have you ever come across a goblin, TJ? Maybe you know of one in your family. Who knows? Now, the thing with goblins is they're great shapeshifters. Just like the Fae folk, okay? They are great shapeshifters. So what does that mean? It means, not yet, TJ will, oh, you never know after this. They might want to greet you. It is said that they shapeshift. They can turn human. They can turn animals. And they can turn to whatever they feel that they want you to see. So how do we really know what a goblin looks like? Well, we don't, do we? Because they will make themselves visual to you or look to you in the way they want you to see them. Now, there is a reason for this, and I'm going to explain this in a minute. So if you were walking down the woodlands, or you were walking down the Rocky Mountains, or through the valleys of Wales, mainly, because that's mainly where goblins kind of hang out. They kind of like Wales. A lot of goblins are Welsh, though they do, you may often encounter one in the moorland, especially the deeper you go, because they're not really into people that much. Now, there's two different types of goblins, but I'm not going to go into everything. Now, there's a reason why they shapeshift. Okay, and it's quite tricky because, like I said, how do we know what they really look like? Because when you see one, or you think you've encountered one, including fairy witches as myself and folklore historians like myself, how do we know what they really look like? Because no one really does know, do they? Because they're for other shapeshifting. So we have to guess. And it doesn't matter anyway, because the way they show themselves to you, okay, is the way that they want to show themselves to you. And there's a reason for that. And I shall tell you the reason. Because if they were to show themselves to you all wrinkly and brown and like prunes and like mangled up little kind of, mosquitoes with their legs in the air, you might not actually greet them. You might run the other way. Because as humans, we tend to judge things by what it looks like. Unfortunately, we are very visual, aren't we? And some of us can be very shallow when it comes to visual. Now, goblins are aware of this and they're not damn well not stupid. Okay, we'd be scared. We would too, wouldn't we? Do you know what, Witch? As I'm a fairy witch and I've worked with Fae folk for a long time, I'd be the first to run. And don't expect me to come back. Absolutely. Just run and, just go. Just go. Okay, so I totally get it. So what they do is they use a bit of what we call glamour magic on you, and they shapeshift. And the reason why they shapeshift is to make themselves appear to you as someone or something that you will welcome. And this is only of the Seelie. This is only of the Seelie court. Do you know what I mean by Seelie court? Now, those who've done my fairy courses will definitely know what I mean by Seelie court. So those who've done, T, you should know this. What about anyone else? Do you know what I mean when I say Seelie court? I'm going to tell you now reading. In fairy folklore and fairy witchcraft, Seelie court means good fae. Unseelie mean the dark fae, and we don't go near them. We don't even talk their names. So shh, we mustn't let them hear, okay? We don't deal with that. You'll get yourself in a sticky situation that you won't be able to get out of. And don't ask me just because I'm a witch to help you, because I'm not going to help you with that, because I don't think that I can. The best thing you can do is just keep away. So the Seelie court are light. They tend to show themselves beautifully in light colours, visual and welcoming. So they want, normally it's because they want to give you a gift. Okay? And if you're, well, sometimes it's because they're just being nosy and they want to get to know you, and they're kind of like, what do we see here? Who is that? One of the two courts. Yes, that's right. I can't see your name. Gerard, yes. So we're talking Seelie, okay? So basically what happens, okay, is if you see a goblin and they might appear to you as a child or a female or even an animal, but they might have something quite magical about them. They might have a cat-like face. Or in this story that I'm telling you right now was about a little boy who in Wales went to explore the Dartmoor. He was just going to play on the Dartmoor. The family lived on Dartmoor, sort of exploring himself. I've got off the beacon track. The moorland, not Dartmoor. Not Dartmoor. Okay, the moorland, okay? I'm getting mixed up where I live and where their goblins live right now. See, they're tricking me already. They're tricking me already. Pesky things. Okay, they do tend to do that. So on the moorlands, you know, in the, you know, the terrain, this young lad used to play there, and it was his friend's birthday. His friend's birthday, and he had his friend's birthday in his hand because he was going on, you know, he was having a little bit of play, like playing in the moorlands, and then he was going to go on to his friend's birthday. Now, this is a very true folklore story, okay? And well, he saw this little girl, and, you know, he thought, oh, hello, you know, little girl, you know, who are you? New friend. And he noticed something very peculiar indeed, and this is the thing that you need to notice when you're dealing with the fae folk, especially the goblins. She had very green eyes. Eyes that were so green, they were often, you know, quite peculiar. Odd. Though she looked human, so you thought, well, she's obviously human, but maybe she's just got beautiful eyes, like magnificent eyes, very emerald green, glistening. You see, that's the thing. You always see something that's a little bit peculiar. So he went on his chit-chat and she said, you know, oh, I like that big shiny ribbon on that present, that gift. And look at that glistening wrapping paper. You see, goblins like glistening things. They often collect a bit, you could say they're very magpie-like. They like to collect shiny things. They like to collect bits of tit and tat in tow and things like that are hanging around on the moors that mortals have left. Does that make sense, everybody? At the moment, are you all with me? Say yes. Say yes if you're all with me. As I feel like I'm talking to myself. Thank you, Reed. I don't want to be talking to myself. No, I'm already potty. I don't need to be any more potty. Okay, so love it. Okay, so T, I'm glad you and reading are loving it. So this makes me stay, because if everybody goes, I'm going. It'd be quite awkward. Okay, so they love shiny things. So she said, can I have that? And he said, well, no, it's for my friend, Emily. It's for my friend. I'm going to her birthday party. This is a present. And she said, oh, no, I don't. Well, I'll give you something for it. And he said, well, it's fluffy socks. Actually, in the parcel was pink fluffy socks for Emily. And she said, oh, I like pink fluffy socks. She said, I've never had pink fluffy socks. And he looked at her feet and she had no shoes on. They were bare. He thought, well, that's quite peculiar as well. How come is this little girl out to play with no shoes and socks on? What sort of mother and father sends their child out with no shoes and socks on? Horrendous. And she said something very peculiar indeed. She said, well, no. She said, we're having a goblin party, don't you know? And he thought, oh my. So he looked around, there was no one around, and he thought, goblin party, but I can't see anybody. She said, can't you hear the music? And he was like, he thought, is she a bit potty? Best like not say anything, you know, potty people. Best just go along with her, he thought. Okay, so as it goes. She said, well, he said, well, what have you got to swap with me? Now, remember, this gal, the green eyes, have you caught on to the story yet? What do you think she is? Remember, the peculiar thing is the green eyes, and also very peculiar, she's got no shoes on. What do you think she is? Before I tell you the rest of the story, we're coming to the end of it. Yes, you do reading. She's a goblin. She's a goblin. I don't know what you mean, Dree. T, yeah, goblin. So anyway, he doesn't know this, okay? So he gives her the pink fluffy socks with the beautiful red wrapping and the beautiful red ribbon with silver twinkly bits on. And she's like, oh, this is exciting. I like this. So she quickly unravelled it and she put the pink fluffy socks on and she patted her feet and said, oh, this is cosy. I've never had pink fluffy socks. And she put the wrapping and the ribbon into her pocket of her apron. Okay, so what have you got for me? He said. And she took out the other pocket of the apron and it was this very peculiar kind of PlayStation handheld console thingy that he's never quite seen before. It looked like a PS console handheld thingy, But it only had one game on it. And it was called the Game of the Goblins. And he said, well, what use is that? It's got one game of it, the Game of the Goblins. And she said, well, of course it has. And he said, well, He said, oh, she said, don't worry, your friend would love it. The Game of the Goblins is the best game ever. And he thought, oh, okay then. Maybe she will. So they said farewell. And as he went, he turned back to say a second goodbye, a little wave like we do. Hello, goodbye. She'd vanished. And he thought, well, that's a bit odd. You know, he looked to the right and looked to the left and he looked all around. And how could she have run off so quickly? And thought, peculiar, he thought. Maybe losing my mind, he thought. Never mind, we'll think nothing more of it and go to Emily's with her new present, the Game of the Goblins. So anyway, quickly going forward, he gave her the present, Emily, and she played it and she played it and she played it. And to actually cut the story short, she didn't stop playing it. In fact, to the point that she never went to school, she never came out of her room, she never bathed, she never ate, and she soon became very, very poorly. Her mum was very, very worried. I can't do nothing, she said. She won't go to school. I've got the board man after me. Oh my God. She's playing this Game of the Goblins. She won't eat, she won't drink, she won't wash. And he was like, oh my. And he went in and Emily said, go away, I'm playing the Game of the Goblins. And she had dark shadows in her eyes. She lost all her weight and all her jolliness had gone. He thought, oh no, I know what it is. It's the Game of the Goblins by that peculiar girl with the green eyes and no shoes on the moorland in Wales. She is strange, he thought. Okay, so yes, Papa G, that is very demanding. If you'd like a reading, you know where to go. Link in bio. I don't do free. Now, don't be cheeky. Okay. So he set off the next day. He thought, I've got to sort this. I've got to help my friend Emily. You know, she's in trouble. I don't know what that game's got to do with, but, you know, I need to go and sort this out with this girl. And I want my pink fluffy socks back for Emily and she can have the Game of Goblins back. So anyway, he went there on the Sunday at 5 p.m. every day because the girl did mention that they had the Goblin party 5 p.m. on Sundays every week. He went there. Every week, you know, for at least a whole month, she wasn't there. Literally, a whole month, wasn't there. 5 p.m. He listened. He looked out for the peculiar guy with the green eyes, peculiar girl, green eyes, and, well, any pink fluffy socks or bare feet? No. And, I'm sorry about that, Papa G. No problem. Okay, I can't help you though. I'm a professional, I charge. Okay, so, oh dear, the boundary goblins sorry guys, the boundary goblins just noticed. I'm sorry guys, we do sometimes have a little troll that pops in, but we do have a boundary goblin that comes in and just alerts me to just get rid of them, so you're all safe. So don't worry, okay? So do alert me though, just in case he's, you know, they can be a little bit tricky doing other things, you know. See something glistening and shiny, they're off, not doing their job and not helping me, like, keep you safe. So let me know if you see any trolls. Okay, so anyway, continuously 4 weeks. He went back on the 5th week and still not there. Went back on the 6th week, still not there. He just about to give up and he thought, one last week, I'm going to the moorland on Wales to look for the peculiar girl with the green eyes and the pink fluffy socks, or maybe no pink fluffy socks if she took them off in bare feet. So this was, thanks T, I love it. This was week 7. Now, week 7. Does anybody know what the number 7 means in witchcraft? Number 7's a very, very important number. Do you know what it means? Does anybody... Angel, I don't know. I don't believe in demons. I'm a witch. I'm not a Christian. Only Christians believe in demons. I don't. Okay, so Number 7 is the number of the fairy witch. Actually, if you see this, this is a tattoo. This is a spectrogram. Some people call it fairy star because it's a lot easier than saying spectrogram. And it has the 7 points, and they are for all sorts of things. It can be the days of the week, the colours of the rainbow, the elements. It could be the 7 notes of a music. It could be anything. It could be windy days, sunny days, but it means number 7, which is a highly spiritual number, and for witches is the number, or some witches, not all witches, you might argue with me, but for me it's the number of the fairy. Okay, so it's on week 7. So when you're working with the fairy, always remember the number 7. This is why the fairy star here, my tattoo, is the 7-pointer star. So if you're going to be working with the fae folk, remember the number 7. We always give in 7s. Okay. So, and oh my goodness, we've got, do you know what? We've got such a lot of trolls here today. I wonder if they're here because they know we're talking about goblins. Often goblins and trolls, they tend to, like, you know, rev each other up a little bit. They tend to get in a little bit of a squabble. So please look out for them, won't you? We need to just get rid of them. Okay, so week 7, he goes there and guess who he sees? Can you guess who he's seen? Tell me who he's seen. In pink fluffy socks, but this time with a glistening red wrapping paper with silver bits on, made into a bracelet around her wrist, okay, and a beautiful red silver ribbon in her hair. 7 in the room today. I love that reading. Is that reading? Oh my God! 7 in the room. I told you there was goblins and fairy folk here. I'm a fairy witch. Of course there's 7 people in the room because there's the 7 chosen ones. Emily, yes! No, not Emily. Reading. Emily is the girl who's poorly with the goblin game. This was, we haven't called her a name. She didn't tell us her name. Apparently she didn't tell her name. It was the girl with the green eyes and the pink fluffy socks that gave him the game for Emily, the goblin game. Okay? Got it? And he said to her, excuse me. She said, oh, hello again. No, you've made my friend very, very poorly. She's got the goblin game. You gave her the goblin game. And she's so addicted. She's not eating. She's not sleeping. Her mum's very worried she's not going to school. And I would like you to stop this, please. I want to give it back to you. And I want those pink fluffy socks back off your feet. She said, oh, well, I can't. She said, why not? Well, for one shit, I like the pink fluffy socks. He said, you can have the pink fluffy socks. Just take the Goblin Market game back and lift this spell or whatever it is off you. My friend Emily, you're very peculiar and I don't like what's happening. This game is doing something to her that's not good. And she said, oh, I'm sorry about that. She said, but I am a goblin. He went, you're what? She said, I am a goblin. What, one of those like wrinkly, brown, big-nosed, short-ass things? Excuse me, she said. I do not look like a wrinkly, brown, short-ass thing. And he said, well, I'm sorry, I just didn't know what a goblin looked like. I had to see them in books. She said, well, you shouldn't be looking and listening to silly people in books. And then she thought about it, and she thought about it again, and she thought about it again, and again, and again, until the 7th time, and then she thought, and she said, okay, I'll help you. At last, he said. But there's an issue. And he said, what's the issue? Now, goblins always have issues, did you know? Well, according to fairy law, and this is very true, I'm not telling you just because I'm telling you a tale, it's very true. Once you are given a gift, she said, it can't be taken back. Now, listen to me, because I'm teaching you fairy folklore as well as fairy witchcraft while I tell you the story. Don't you realise what I'm doing? If you are gifted by the fae, or the fairy folk, the gentry, the elementals, what do you like to call them? Tell me first, what do you like to call the fairy folk? My favourite's the gentry, or maybe the hidden folk. What do you like to call them? And of course, they include goblins. They're all under the same umbrella. Tell me, what do you like to call them? Talk to me, guys. I don't want to sit here talking to myself. It's rather boring. The fae. You like the fae tea. What about you reading? Because I know you watching. Anybody else, what do you like to call them? My favourite's the gentry. The hidden folk. The Fae. You like the Fae. Okay. The wee folk. The fair folk. There's lots. The Fae. Right. Okay. So, this is true. I tell you now, this is true in fairy folklore and fairy witchcraft. There's a fairy witch myself. The hidden fairy. It's cute, isn't it, Reading? I love it. I love them. They're so fun. They really help us escape, don't they, as witches? It is true in fairy witchcraft, fairy folklore. Look, call it what you like. It is magic. Once they gift you, which often they do gift humans in kindness, they can't take it back. So what does that mean for you? Well, if you're gifted by the fairy, be it a spiritual gift, be it the tarot. Lots of people are gifted the gift of tarot by the fae folk. Be it fairy seeing. Maybe you're a fairy seer. Do you see them in the forest, in the trees? Maybe it's of clairvoyance or dream or prophecy. Or maybe you've got a dab hand at the spell work. You're a bit of a sorceress. It all comes from the fae folk. Or some does. Depending where you are in your witchcraft and where you're positioned. You don't have to be a witch to be gifted by the fae folk. Once they give it to you, they can't take it back. So what does this mean? Well, it means that not just this life, but next life, the next life, and the life after that, and through eternity. Now, eternity is a long time, don't you know? Eternity never ends. You will keep coming back with this gift, be it what it is, again and again and again. Now, we only work with the Seelie. As I've already told you. What is the Seelie? Remind me what the Seelie is. I've already told you. I looked over, it says Reading. Oh, that sounds... Oh, big shiny back Reading. I love that. So what is the Seelie? So I know you're listening. What is the Seelie? What are they? Because I don't want you to worry about being gifted from the fae folk. As a fairy witch and a folklorist. What are the Seelie? So I know that you're watching and listening, because I don't want to be sitting here on a Sunday afternoon talking to anyone who doesn't really want to listen and got their backs to me. Good fairies. Yes, T, they're the good fairies. So they're just going to give you nice things. Now, the unseelie, which is the dark, we don't talk about the unseelie. We don't mention it. They're not going to give you anything. They're not even going to give you the time of day. I don't even advise you say hello, because they don't want you to, because that's another story. Just keep moving on. So it won't be for them. So if you've got a gift for the fairy, don't worry, it's always good. But there's more to it. It isn't that easy. You don't get away that easy. And I'm not going to talk about it right now. If you want more, you need to go and check my link in bio for the Goblin course. Now, let me tell you, you're probably thinking, what happened to you, Emily? Well, it's okay, because the Goblin said, well, I will finish the story for you. I hope that we took some of the folklore lessons, because as I'm storytelling, I'm teaching you fairy witchcraft, as in real fairy witchcraft, in between the story. I don't know if you're getting what I'm doing. Do you get what I'm doing, team Reading? I know that you two are enjoying this more. You understand what I'm trying to do as a storyteller. It's more of a fun way of telling you. Now, this is a true folklore story. This isn't made up. This is actually documented. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to finish the story because I don't want you going away feeling sad for Emily and thinking, oh my goodness, what happened? Okay? As long as you've got your teachings, I'm fine. You can scribble them down if you like, your little gribble. And this week, guys, well, I don't know if it'd be this week, but certainly, I'm going to be coming on live and teaching you how to make your own fairy grimoires. Is that something you would like to do? If it is, say yes, because I used to teach them years ago and sell them, and I used to be very good at it. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to teach you for free. Is that... Yes, Garrett, I love that. I don't know if you wanted me to teach you, but it will be free. Okay, so... Where were we? Emily. Yes. Well, she turned around the Goblin with the peculiar green eyes and the fluffy socks, and now the ribbon in her hair and the glistening bracelet made of wrapping paper, and said, well, I can't take it back because, you know, we fairies, once we gift, we can't take it back. He said, oh no, she's going to die. That's awful. And she said, well, there's something I can do. And he said, what? He said, well, I need to break the glamour spell. It's called a fairy glamour spell. Well, how on earth do I do that? I'm not a witch, I'm not a magician. And she put in her hand in the pocket, the same pocket she took the Goblin game out of. And she come out with a little pot. And in the little pot was some very squishy, yellow, odd-looking ointment. And she said, when you go to Emily's, rub this on her eyes and then take off. You would just see, and take off the game off her and throw it into the water. It must go into the element of water and go deep, deep down where it will break the fairy spell. Or you need to burn it in the element of fire and that will break the fairy spell. And he said, but she won't give it to me, don't you get? She said, well, why do you think I've given you the ointment? Just put it on her eyes and you will see. And I thought, how odd. And she said, well, listen to me, I'll tell you something now. Listen to this, another fairy witch tip. It is said that the fairy ointment, who knows what the fairy ointment is? What is it made of? I'm not going to tell you that. It's a secret of fairy witches. But it is said if you rub it on your eyes, it allows you to see through fairy glamour and see the real true fairy as they are. So what does that mean? It means to see people's hearts. But it also means if you're going down the forest one day and everything looks very sparkly and very to do, and that's another story that I'm going to tell you in folklore, which I'm not going to tell you right now, and you're like, oh, this is fun, and you're on a bit of a pixie tread, and you kind of lose your way, and you have to turn your coat up inside out to break the spell, okay, because pixies can be just as pesky as goblins. It breaks the spell, and you see what's in front of you. So maybe it isn't all glistening and beautiful and lovely. It might be all dried up yucky leaves and bark and I don't know, bare trees and cold and icy. It might not be. And the moral of that with fairy, the moral of the story with the fairy folklore, which we all know as fairy witches, is not all is as it seems. Always look at someone's heart, because it doesn't matter. They might look very glistening and shiny and, oh, aren't they pretty? But they might have a very rotten heart. And that is the moral of fairy folklore with this story. So let me go on. So off he goes. She runs on back to Emily, knocks on the door, says, Mum answers, yes, please come in. She's upstairs. She won't go to school. She won't drink. She won't eat. I'm really worried. Don't worry. I've got something here. And he pulls out the pocket, you know, the ointment. And Emily's there on the Goblin game. And she says, go away. Go away. I'm playing the Goblin game. I don't want to play with you anymore. And he scoops up this yellow gunge and he goes across her eyes. And she went, ah! Yes, see, fairy folklore tea is full of morals and ethics. You might actually hear me talking about morals and ethics quite a lot when I'm on live. I'm a very firm believer in morals and ethics. Most fairy witches have got that kind of character. And it's a good one too, isn't it? And we learn it with Fae. She wasn't screaming. He didn't hurt her. She was screaming because this ointment, you just poked me in the eye with some gun, she said. And then she looked up and said, what have you got in your hand? Yeah, I love that too. And in his hand, he had snatched out the Goblin game off Emily while she was screaming, all to do with this gun in her eyes. He went, it's the Goblin game, the one that is making you ill. And she said, what are you on about? It's ugly. It's awful. Get it away from me. And you think, what? You've just spent the last 7 months, 7 months, playing on the damn thing and getting very ill. No, it's not, she said. It's a big, black, ugly chunk of wood with all green, yucky moss on it. And it's got a beetle in it. He looked down at the Goblin game. And to him, he saw the Goblin game. What was Emily seeing? She was seeing something else. Remember the ointment allows you to see the true thing? This Goblin game had kept her prisoner. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, she could only play the PlayStation game. It was making her ill. It was removing her friends. It was stopping her from mixing. Yes, reading, she saw the truth. I love that. Hi, Pixie. I love it that you're called Pixie Dixie. She saw the truth. The yucky game that was like an addiction. So she saw it for what it was. This big, black, mucky, yucky, slimy bit of wood with moss on, but I like moss. Don't have a go at the moss. But with a nasty looking beetle on it. Ew! Not so sure about beetles. Goblins like beetles, I don't. They prefer squashed ones for some reason. They often look for squashed beetles. I like moss tea reading. It's pretty. They don't know. Goblins like it when it's got squashed beetles in it. You know? They like ugly things. So, off he ran down to the moorland in Wales, down to the River Lake, and he went to throw it into the element of water. So, because what does the element of water do in witchcraft, guys? Do you know what the element of water does in witchcraft? What does it do? What am I doing today, Pixie Dixie? I'm telling you some folklore stories, which have got real fairy meaning in. It's my way of teaching. It's a real folklore goblin story, but there's lots of witchcraft teaching in it and folklore for every day as well. So it's a nice way of teaching rather than the old droll of this and that and nay. I was like, no, thank you. I don't like to teach that way. Okay. It breaks the curses there. That nearly there. It does. But there's another word I'm looking for reading. Very nearly there. You are right, but we need to look at another. Fire's probably better at breaking curses reading, to be honest. Though, don't doubt me on that. You might have different experiences, and I truly respect you. And, you know, all us witches work differently. It purifies, yes. It cleanses. That's what I was looking for, that word. Cleanses away, purifies. Everything. Rids the negative energy, takes it away, dissolves it. So, anyway, this as he looked, he'd thrown it into the river. He saw, pretty sure, in the corner of his eye, he saw that ugly, brown, barky, mossy lump of wood with a squashed beetle's bottom on it. Just go pop in the river, and it's gone. It's sunk. It's gone forever. And as he ran away, he thought, did I see that? Did I not? And as he ran away, oh no, the goblin boundary's very... Oh goodness, we've got lots of trolls today. I'm so sorry. Okay, so don't worry, the goblin boundary, the boundary goblin's onto it. He just alerted me, but just sweep them away with my broom. We're all safe. So as I'm going, he ran to Emily's. Mum answered the door, her mum. I am so pleased. Emily's up and dressed. She's had a good meal. She even wanted pudding and apple pie and ice cream. And she's talking about she's missed school so much. She's got her bag packed and she can't wait to go and play with you. And he gave a good, he smiled and he had a glisten in his eyes. And that is the story of the goblin lore and shape-shifting, and not all is as it seems. So did you like that story of the goblin in Wales? I don't know the title of the story. I can't talk Welsh. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of these folklore stories in Goblin have very Welsh titles that don't even get me to talk Welsh because I come up with a lot of goggly gook. Okay, so did you like it? You did too. I'm so pleased. And there was quite a few things in that, teachings for your grimoires. So if you want good storytelling, I love storytelling. And you can put some of those things that you've learned today, you can put them in your grimoires or your book of shadows. What do you like to call it? Do you like to call it a book of shadows, a grimoire, or just your witch's notebook? Or your magic book? Do you know what? You can call it words of magic and what you call your little book that you keep things in. It's up to you. That's the secret. The magic comes from you, not from anyone else, not from me. Not from the next door, not from them across the road, not from some big person on TikTok. It comes from you. Okay, so you can call your magic book whatever you like. What do you call your magic book? Because this week, I'm hoping this week, give or take, I'm going to be doing some free teachings here on TikTok. I'm not sure what time, but I will let you know in the stories. So always check my stories. If you go to the top of my page and tap on this where you see stories, okay, I think you just tap my profile picture and assure you. I will alert you when the goblins come out and tell me that I need to do that. Okay? So when the Dreamstone Goblin, so if you've got my 7 Goblins of Faery, which is in my Ko-Fi shop, my art shop in Ko-Fi, you'll know the Dreamstone Goblin. Now he's all about magical things and finding magical things, but most of all, he's about creating magical things. So he will be helping me show you how to make, at home, your very own grimoire. And all you need to start this week or next is a book. a hardback book with nice pictures in. In fact, would you like me to show you what you're going to need? Larch, I have my own Larch. Did you know that? Larch, could you grab me some of the Goblin books? You can get these on eBay, the charity shop, or maybe you've got some from when you were a child. All you're going to need, you're going to need very simple things to make them. It's going to be new. I don't know if anybody's interested. Are you interested? Say yes. In me teaching you free. Can you get some of the books out that I'm going to be making Grimoire's Book of Shadows out of? It doesn't cost much. Witchcraft shouldn't cost you very much at all. It never was meant to be for rich people. It's meant to be for everyone. Yeah, you're interested. I'll be teaching this free. Okay, so let's have a look. So, and that one. This one. So books like this. The nice big A4 paper. Do you know the times when they made real books? Okay. Now I got these on. I got this one in a charity shop. Ah, thank you, really. I got this one in a charity shop. That one I got on eBay for a couple of quid. And I think I got this one on Amazon secondhand. So anything that's kind of like fairy, or it doesn't have to be fairy, whatever you like. It could be anything. It could be birds or squirrels or whatever, trees. Anything like that. That's all you need to start for lesson 1. So I'm going to be taking you through making the cover and just making a few insert sheets. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple cover and a very simple insert sheets. I've got a bit of a lisp, have you noticed? Those pesky goblins playing there. Got a little bit tricking me up with that lisp. So that's all you need. It's going to be very easy to make, very cheap, very basic, but very magical, very, very beautiful for you to use in your witchcraft. So that will be a little TikTok live. Now, if you want me to alert you when I'm going live, if you go to one of my pinned posts, any pinned post on my page, and just, you know, right in there, please alert me. I will alert you. Okay, I will literally just comment to that comment on that day, and that way TikTok will tell you, oh, so commented on your comment. They often do that, don't they? And you'd be like, oh, she's going live in about 10-20 minutes.